Hello everybody. There is another somewhat misunderstood action with friends, and that is warp. And I want to show you some weird things about warp. Number one, you cannot warp when you're too close to a player. Here's warp up here. That's a friend action. Tapping warp in the friend menu doesn't do anything. All it tells you is it lets you warp to a friend in the same level. So you'd never use that to actually warp. But as you can see, I don't have the option to warp if I'm too close. Instead, I'm going to have the option to hold hands. That's not going to help me if I want to warp to somebody in the middle of a group because I don't know anybody else in the group. So say, for example, you join one of my streams and you know me and you have warp with me, but I'm holding hands with strangers to you. In that case, you're going to need warp. And how you're going to do that is you're going to have to get to a distance away from me until when you tap on me, you get the warp button. Once you get that warp button, sometimes you have to chirp in order for it to be able to select, then you can tap it and you can warp. Again, it needs to be at a distance. You may run into the problem though that you can't see the person. So if you can't select them, you might ask them to move in such a way that you can find them, or to chirp. Because if just your friend chirps that you want to warp to, even if they're in a group, you might be able to see their icon. But again, you need to be somewhat far away, because if I'm too close, I'm not going to come up with this. And then I'm warped, and that's one time when you're going to be able to hold hands with strangers, is because you've warped to somebody in the group who you do know.